What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. What time is it? It is 8:07 p.m. here in Florida. And I figured instead of just sitting around for an hour while my wife puts my daughter to bed, I'd hop on here and shoot the shit with you guys for a little bit. So, hang out, sit back, relax, whatever's on your mind, let's talk about it. The topic is, what do you want to see in new Star Wars? But, as always, we never stay on topic around here, which makes it fun, right? It makes it fun. But welcome, guys. Let's see. We got Unknown Cars fan, Fetman, Oscar, Adam, 80s kid from the 90s, Ricky, 21 Goats on a Boat, Cole. What's up, Cole? A Stormtrooper. A Stormtrooper says, I clogged my toilet. Catherine, Josh, Carter, Evan, Iron Elephant, Danger Dan. Welcome, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Carter Lovejoy, thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support of the stream. Carter says, I'd love to see more autistic neurodiversity representation in Star Wars. Tech from Bad Batch is considered autistic neurodivergent coded, so I'd be happy to see more characters that are on the spectrum. Interesting. Did they actually talk about that or allude to that in the material, or is that a kind of a fan theory, I suppose? That's interesting. I have not heard that. Bad Batch. Let's see. Tech has not been canonically confirmed to be autistic, but D. Bradley Baker. Oh, Molly actually tweeted about it. She's on this article here. She said, I quite enjoy the quiet moments of relationship building in the Bad Batch, and today's episode is a very important one to help people more easily understand how neurodivergent people may process thoughts and emotions differently. This may help people understand what ND can mean. Interesting. I am, so out of the loop with the happenings, especially with the Bad Batch and, animated shows and whatnot like that. But yeah, that's interesting. I guess it's not canonically in there. And again, I didn't watch all of Bad Batch. I only watched the first episode. It takes a lot for me to get into animated shows for whatever reason. You guys know me. So, possibly just by watching it, you see yourself in the way. Obviously, we see ourselves in the way certain characters act. And I'm sure people are able to kind of deduce different mindsets, different types of people. I don't know. It's interesting, but all shapes, sizes, and different types of people, all across the planet, and there's nothing wrong with. I don't understand why people get bent out of shape when different types of people find themselves in Star Wars. I don't get it, but I'm too exhausted to argue with them. Just most of the time, just flick it off like a fly and be like, just fuck off. But anyway, I appreciate that, Carter. Cheers, man. I swear I learn something new every time I do a stream. The Fringe Canadian Wolfman, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. And one sec.
We follow the bad guys, separatists, Empire or First Order. We've gotten bits and pieces before, but I'd like a full story beginning to end where you're the villain and feel shitty for the actions you commit.
Ricky, thank you so much for the generous super chat and channel support this evening. I appreciate that, man. So Wolfman, you can already guess. You can already guess. Yeah, I still haven't watched it. I mean, the excuses that I've given are the same excuses that I will give. But it's silly. I understand that it's silly. Over the past month, I've been studying for certain work-related things. That's kind of, taking up a lot of my time at the fire station. And when I do watch something, it's usually something with the crew. When I'm home, I watch something with the wife. When my wife and my kid are at work or school, these days I've been working on a sponsored video for a couple weeks. That'll be coming out maybe tomorrow, actually. Just waiting on the green light. So, I need to find the time to at least maybe watch an hour. Or 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. How is it broken down? Can I let's see. Star Wars Clone Wars Micro Series. Alright. I could break it down. I guess I could just break it. See, in my head, Wolfman, I'm sitting there like, you know what? I might as well binge it all and just watch it all at once. But I guess I could break... I didn't actually realize there were so many chapters per season. I could just break it down into individual chapters that are probably only minutes long, right? Chapter length. The 2003 Clone Wars series is about 2 hours and 25 minutes. There are a total of 3 seasons and 25 episodes. Episodes in season 1 and 2 are 3 to 4 minutes, while season 3 episodes range from nearly 9 minutes to almost 14 minutes. Okay. I didn't even know that, Wolfman. So I could easily just sit down and watch like 30 minutes and get through, like almost a season. That changes things. I might just start watching a couple episodes a day until I get through it. But anyway, I appreciate that, Wolfman, and I'm sorry. Ricky, Dicky, Duda Grimes, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, man. I greatly appreciate it. Ricky says, I'd love a story where we follow the bad guys. Separatists, Empire, First Order. We've gotten bits and pieces before, but I'd like a full story beginning to end where you're the villain and feel shitty for the actions you commit. Well, if they do it right... Oh, what is this music, man? Alright, so if you guys haven't watched my past few streams, I got a new computer. Yeah, I got a new computer. And basically every single... Like, on my old computer, I had this playlist, my live stream playlist, curated big time, you know. It was only stuff like, kind of, like what you're listening to right now. But when I got my new computer, I just drug all of my music over there that I've ever used on any video. So you get random shit like that. I need to go through it and cut out a bunch of stuff that just doesn't fit, you know. But, what was I going to say? Oh, so you said you want a full story where you follow the bad guys. And you say where you're the villain and feel shitty for the actions you commit. If they do it correctly. If they do it correctly, Ricky, you wouldn't feel shitty. Let me explain. If they do a movie or a show solely from the perspective of the bad guys, the Empire, for example, I would want them to put us in the minds, in the eyes of the Empire. Meaning, they think they're doing the right thing. Does that make sense? If they do it correctly, then if they do it correctly, you would see the rebellion as a threat to order. You know what I mean? If they do it correctly, you would actually maybe not sympathize or empathize with the plight, but they would have to do, for me at least, I would want them to take that that perspective of we're doing the right thing for the right cause. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't be interesting to me if we just followed the bad guys and you just are like, oh, everything they're doing is wrong. It would be more interesting to kind of see it from their perspective, from the grunts, you know, to the admirals. Because a villain is way more interesting when they think that what they're doing, what their actions, that the actions that they're taking are justified and for a cause that they believe in. You know, a bad guy with a scary mask who's just mean to be mean, that's not scary. But a bad guy who believes in maybe the atrocities that he's committing or the actions that he's taking and believes that they are the correct actions and justified, that's way more terrifying. And from that perspective, they're doing the right thing, right? So I would want the story from a villain's perspective where they think they're doing the right thing and the story goes along with their thought process, if that makes sense. You know? Exactly, Ricky. Ricky says, I get what you're saying. Everyone is the hero in their own story. Exactly. Exactly. To me, that would be interesting. If we're going to follow a quote-unquote villain story, an empire perspective story, I think it would be interesting to put them as not the good guys, but to see their actions as justified from their point of view. I think that would be an interesting way to go about it. Now, I don't know if the internet's mature enough to kind of understand that. I mean, you write a bad guy character, and then for whatever reason, silly people on Twitter think that the person who wrote the bad guy character believes in everything that the bad guy believes in. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, there's not that separation between like writer and character that the writer is writing. Because people are silly and oftentimes dumb. But anyway, Ricky, I greatly appreciate that extremely generous super chat and channel support this evening, man. Henry says, I always had this idea for a Star Wars comedy show about stormtroopers and their weird antics around the galaxy. Yeah, I actually dabbled like way early on in the channel's existence, probably 10, 11 years ago. I made a couple really silly videos where I was a stormtrooper, like just kind of an office worker. And it was stupid. They were like 2-minute long videos, really dumb. But it would be a good web series for sure. And maybe I could get back into that. Doing stuff like that. Death Star janitor. I mean, Robot Chicken kind of did that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, Troopers. I always forget about Troopers. Troopers Star Wars. No. Oh, okay. Troopers fan film. Oh, it's called Troops. It's just called Troops. I haven't watched Troops in so long. So long. God, that is...
A couple years ago.
That's a blast from the past right there. That's like one of the earliest fan films I remember watching. First Star Wars fan film. This might be an interesting video to make. Anyway. Star Wars Detours. Yeah, that was the animated Star Wars Detours that got it never came out, right? Canceled release. Okay. So yeah, it never came out, correct? Although 39 episodes of the show have been produced, their release has been on hold since 2013 following Disney's acquisition. Interesting. So are 39 episodes like there and ready to be released? Huh. In March 2022, Weird Al revealed that he and other cast members had recorded original songs for the series, with canceled third season planned to feature a musical. In 2023, Space.com opined that Star Wars lacked an official comedy motion picture, noting that the release of Detours would fill that void, blah, blah, blah. Huh, interesting. A Futurama Star Wars style show would be great. Yeah, I mean, I would love something a little off the wall, you know. I mean, Lower Decks, I haven't seen any Lower Decks episodes, you know, Star Trek Lower Decks. I've heard it's fun. Maybe something kind of lighthearted and goofy and all over the place. That doesn't have any restrictions and kind of can do whatever it wants would be kind of neat. All right, there we go. So I didn't have to work today. I don't have to work tomorrow. And these nights where, you know, basically every day that I work, I consider it a weekend because I work 24 on and 42 off, meaning hours. And I love my nights like this, but knowing I don't have to go to work tomorrow, and I know that I can stay up late and like. At the moment, I've been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy on my new PC, and I'll just stay up till like midnight, 1 in the morning, sitting back in my chair with my Xbox controller Bluetooth to my PC, and just kind of vegging out like I used to. And it's just kind of nice. I'll have like a little glass of something, play for a couple hours, and you know. But I actually debated about, instead of playing a game, watching that new... Oh, there's a new Star Wars Holiday Special documentary out called A Disturbance in the Force? Yeah. It's called A Disturbance in the Force. It's all about the Star Wars Holiday Special. Interviews people like Taron Killam, Weird Al, Kevin Smith, Seth Green, a bunch of, you know, people that you'll know. Yeah, it's like a short and sweet, hour and a half long. It's available on video on demand, and also on Blu-ray. And I'm probably gonna watch that soon. I'm pretty excited to check that out. But yeah, if you're looking for something to watch that's Star Wars related, that you know, it's a little different. Check out A Disturbance in the Force. I'm hoping that it you know, I'm hoping that it kind of goes into the basket of some of my favorite Star Wars documentaries. There's some great ones out there, for sure. If you haven't watched Elstree 1977? 1976. Elstree 1976. I have that on Blu-ray. The director, the creator of that, sent me a copy, signed it. Very nice of him. Elstree 1976. That's ELSTREE. 1976. It's a really good Star Wars documentary that it's not your typical, like, you know, in 1977 Star Wars released and it changed the world. This is a very intimate Star Wars documentary that focuses on people who played characters that, I mean, were pretty much masked. So, like, they focus on Dave Prowse, they focus on Jeremy Bulloch, you know, people like that whose face, I mean, you do see Jeremy Bulloch, his face briefly, but he's known for, you know, playing Boba Fett. It's just an interesting documentary that kind of takes an interesting angle about the way Star Wars impacted these people's lives over the decades, you know. It's really well done. It's really well done. I think it's one of the more important Star Wars documentaries and more interesting documentaries, you know. We've all seen documentaries where they show a line around the block for the opening day of Star Wars. We've all seen that, but this is a kind of almost a somber documentary. Much more intimate, but anyway. Ricky, thank you so much once again for the super chat and channel support, man. Ricky says, have you ever thought about putting out your own commentary for the OT films? Yeah, you know, I've thought about doing that for a very long time. The only commentary track I've ever recorded, Ricky, was, I believe it was for Rogue... Oh, was it? Yeah, I believe it was for Rogue One. That... I probably don't even have a copy of that file anymore. But I uploaded it, and then it got taken down due to copyright infringement. Still to this day, I don't really understand why. I mean, occasionally, like I was watching the movie with headphones on and talking into a microphone. Occasionally you would hear like a loud sound effect, but it was coming from my headphones to my microphone, so it was so quiet. And I'm wondering if like that was enough to cause some kind of copyright infringement. I don't know, it was silly. So that kind of turned me off to the overall idea of doing a commentary track. I mean, I would just have to do it differently, I suppose. But yeah, yeah, that would be that would definitely be something that I'd be interested in doing for sure. The OT would be where I would start. I don't know how I would go about it. Like, I mean, it would be kind of, I don't know. A part of me would be like, I see a lot of other YouTubers uploading like exclusive commentary tracks on Patreon and stuff like that, but I never advertise my Patreon. I never advertise my, you know, become a member of the channel thing. Maybe that, so like, I don't know if I would go about doing it that way or just upload it as a regular video. I don't know. I have to think about it. But yes, I have thought about that, and that's been something that I've thought about doing for, I mean, a decade. I mean, in all honesty, a decade, but I've just never done it. Yeah, you're probably right, Ricky. Picked up a little hint of the score or something like that. But anyway, man, I appreciate that. Nice. An eBay copy for $5, Fat Man. Let's see. I'm going to look up right now. Elstree 1976. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys can get the Elstree 1976 documentary on eBay for pretty damn cheap. The DVD copy going for like $7. The Blu-ray copy you can get for well, where's the Blu-ray copy? $20. 38. I mean, maybe it's not in print anymore, so it's a little more expensive. 12. Yeah. It's not going to be up everyone's alley, but I think it's a really important Star Wars documentary. That's different, you know. But anyway. Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much once again for the super chat and channel support. Oscar says, I'd like a Goonies/Stand By Me style flick featuring young Anakin and some runaway Padawans. And with Obi-Wan like an angry dad. Who could play them? Yeah, that'd be fun. You know, that's one reason that I'm really looking forward to Skeleton Crew. I mean, you know, it's been described as Goonies Star Wars. How true is that going to be? I mean, what makes Stand By Me and Goonies so fun is that it's like, I love Stand By Me. It's my wife's all-time favorite movie. I had never seen it until I started dating her in 2008. She introduced me to that movie, and I've loved it since. It's wonderful. But I hope Skeleton Crew... I really do hope it feels like one of those 1980s, you know, latchkey kids on the run, adventurous, you know, stories. I love that kind of stuff. And, you know, you hear how kids actually talk, how kids act around one another. You know, you watch a lot of movies with kid ensembles and stuff like that, and sometimes it's so squeaky clean and polished, and you know, but you watch a movie like Stand By Me, and there's interesting dynamics between all the kids, and they talk the way their family talks. They curse. They have, all of them have different mannerisms and personalities and attitudes. And that's what makes, you know, a movie like that special. It's not all just all the kids feel the same, and they, you know what I mean, they talk the same, and they act the same and whatnot. That I think a lot of modern like kids movies or even shows fall into the trap of. But yeah, that would be fun for sure, Oscar. Something like that I think would be fun. And hopefully Skeleton Crew, you know, fits that bill. I really hope it does. Yeah, I'm very hopeful. Very hopeful. You guys want to see a dead body? Did I tell you guys? Yeah, I told you. So me and my wife, about a week ago or so, we were trying to figure out what to watch. We had a bottle of wine. We went to dinner. You know, we got home. The kid was in bed. We had another bottle of wine. We were like, what are we going to watch? It was just a nice, relaxing evening on the couch with the wife and the Christmas tree in the corner. And Stand By Me was there, and I was like, let's watch Stand By Me. She's like, really? I was like, fuck yeah. So we turned it on, and we watched it. Loved it, of course. We've seen it a bunch. And that night, it was like 2 in the morning, and I was just laying in bed on my phone, you know, feeling pretty good. And whenever that happens, sometimes I order things. So I ordered her, like, Stand By Me stuff for stocking stuffers for Christmas. Just random shit. The next day, I was like, what did I buy? A shirt, a fridge magnet, a Christmas tree ornament, a vinyl record. So, like, everything that's going to go into her stocking pretty much is, like, Stand By Me related. Which, oh well, that's better than getting bullshit in your stocking, I guess, right? It's actually something she enjoys. Oh, what's the prognosis for Trevor Lawrence there? Guacamole? High ankle sprain, okay. Alright. I guess that's way better than any kind of fracture. I'll read about this later. Stayed up late at the station last night watching it. And then we had calls all night. I didn't sleep for shit last night. I took about a 10-minute nap today. Anyway. I appreciate that, Oscar. Oscar, once again, thank you for coming in with 2 more Super Chats back to back here. Oscar says, Different Seasons by Stephen King may be for you. Interesting. Let's see. Different Seasons. Stephen King. I've never heard of this one, Oscar. Different Seasons is a collection of 4 Stephen King novellas with a more dramatic bent rather than the horror fiction for which King is famous. Tied together via subtitles that relate to each of the 4 seasons. The collection is notable for having 3 out of its 4 novellas turned into Hollywood films, one of which, The Shawshank Redemption, was nominated for the 1994 Academy Award for Best Picture. And another Stand By Me was nominated as Best Adapted Screenplay. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay. So, is Stand By Me not a full novel? Oh, it is. Okay, it is. All right. I would get the novel for my wife, but she reads on her Kindle. She reads so many books. She's read like 30 books in the past 4 months. She reads a lot. So she'll have to get it on the Kindle. I think she would rather do that. But all right, Different Seasons. Let's see. Different Seasons. Wait, so Different Seasons. Does Different Seasons include Stand By Me? Like, how many pages is this thing? 688. But it's so... Huh. Alright. I'm gonna have to look into this. So, the body, I mean, Stand By Me is titled The Body. So I guess, interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to research this a little bit. Oscar says, oh, and Boys in the Hood, great paired with Stand By Me. Boys in the Hood. Oh, the movie. Let's see. Have I seen this? I feel like I've seen this. All right, I have to keep this in mind. It's available on Netflix. All right. There we go. I'm gonna keep this this up as well as different seasons, because I think me and my wife share an Amazon account, obviously, and so our Kindles are linked. So I think we'd both be interested in checking out the different seasons book on there. But I appreciate that, Oscar. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, man. Might have given us something to read together. Unknown Cars Fan 95. Which Harry Potter film is your favorite? The first one. The first one is my favorite. I don't know. I like the kind of the innocent nature of it. I'm a big fan of the beginning of stories and sagas and trilogies, you know. To me, it was the most memorable. I like when there's like a fish out of water element, which is always fun, that I always kind of gravitate towards in stories and movies and stuff. So, and it's, to me, it's even more adventurous and imaginative than any of the other ones, you know. I think, you know, and it's the one I'm most excited to show my daughter when she's a couple. I think maybe around the year when she's like 8 years old or so would be a good age to introduce her to the first Harry Potter movie. So we're about 2.5 years away. But yeah. It's so Christian says third one is my favorite, the first one is my second favorite, the last one is my third favorite. I don't really I've seen them all, but I don't really have many memories or I can't really remember the rest of them as much as I do the first one. The first one's just ingrained in my memory. Again, I think it's just there's something about, you know, origin stories that I love, where a character is taken from their normal life and brought into a world of the unfamiliar, and to me that is where the most fun lies, you know. But yeah. But yep. I think the sequels are kind of underwhelming, but don't deserve the immense hate. A Stormtrooper. You know, I don't know how old all you guys are, but my experience. So I was 13 when the Phantom Menace came out. I rode that wave of excitement, and then I rode that wave of disappointment. The crowd that I hung around with, my friends, weren't fans of the prequels. All the people that I talked to, you know, you go to comic shops back in the day and people were just talking shit about those movies. So I've experienced maybe a more subdued version of what we see now, because now everything is so loud and in your face. You turn on your phone, you go to Twitter or YouTube, and you're just hit with like just video essays of why such and such was shit. So it's just a lot louder nowadays than it used to be. So you know, the exaggeration, I mean, it's very interesting to me how, I mean, the back in the day, the prequels were not liked. I mean, maybe they were liked by younger people who did not have a voice on the internet, but overall, the older folks around my age range, I mean, maybe my age range was kind of the pivot point. I know some people my age that like those movies, but the vast majority that I interact with, my friends, did not. So it's interesting to see like younger generations who are huge prequel fans just completely demolish and shit all over the sequel trilogy, not maybe realizing or not having had lived through the experience of the prequels. You know what I mean? I'm 30. I'm going to be 38 in next year, in a few months. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me to kind of see history repeat itself with the fandom, as if this is something new. A disappointment in Star Wars. Wow, what an incredible discovery you've discovered. People are disappointed in Star Wars? Yeah, no fucking shit. But now you can monetize it. You can make a video a day, you know, bitching and moaning about things you don't like about a franchise and make money off of it. So there's a lot more of it. I mean, in 1999, if YouTube was a thing and the digital monetization of outrage was a thing, holy shit, you would have seen that back then too. You know, that's just yeah. That's just how it was. But anyway. Ricky says, I'd say I'm about maybe with the prequels and loved them as a kid, but now really don't like them at all besides a few moments. Interesting. I would say, Ricky, that the opposite is true of maybe... I won't say that I like them any more than I ever have, but I kind of do appreciate the story, and I credit a lot of that to the Clone Wars. But, yeah. Yeah, Kevin, I agree. I hope they branch out and do more things in different eras for sure. I completely agree. Which I think they will. I think they will eventually. Yeah, I agree, Ricky. But I was really late to the party with that, you know. I didn't start watching it until... Shit, I think it was 2017 is when I started watching it. And the only reason I started watching it was because, you know, people on live streams were like, you gotta watch this. And I was like, I don't want, you know, it's an animated show. I don't really get into that stuff that much. And I gave it a shot, and I ended up thoroughly enjoying it. You know, it's like anything that has 7 seasons. There's a lot of hits. There's a lot of misses. There's some really great stuff. There's some really bad stuff. But, you know, overall, I think it's worth a watch and a fun ride, you know. I agree with Christian. Grew up with the prequels, have nostalgia, but I'm not delusional enough to convince myself they're good films. Rich Boy Jai. Yeah, it's interesting, like, how... you know, people just praise them nowadays. And back in the day, they were the shittiest of shits you could ever shit on. But nowadays, they're held up as these masterpieces. And I'm like, really, guys, really? Your benchmark for great Star Wars is the prequels? I mean, I get you love it. I have things that I'm nostalgic for that I grew up with as well. But that's your benchmark? I don't know. I don't know. Clone Wars is where I feel most of my love, or where most of my love comes from. Yep, I get it, Ricky, for sure. You might like my next few videos. They're kind of Clone Wars related. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not what it's not at all what you're thinking either. It's Clone Wars related, and it was super fun. And I'm not gonna divulge any information, but the videos should be coming out over the next week or so. A few of them. Star Wars story. Did the robot not notify me? Has it not happened yet? The robot's been really delayed lately with popping up super chat notifications, at least on my end. Star Wars story, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. It's good to see ya. Star Wars story says, old friend, I'd love to see a 2D adaptation. There we go, the robot just did the notification. Star Wars story says, old friend, I'd love to see a 2D adaptation of the Skywalker saga. Retelling, oh, let me scroll up, it just went up. Retelling the classic story plus hindsight. Galaxy of adventures shorts as feature films. Hey, that would be fun. As feature films. Interesting. I can't really see them actually doing that. I mean, unless maybe it's a Disney Plus release as a film. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't ever see. You had the Clone Wars movie, which I don't know how you guys feel about that thing, but I can't see them putting out an animated Star Wars movie in the theaters. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't ever see that happening. But you never know. But having a home for something like that on Disney Plus, I think would fit the bill. I like the Galaxy of Adventure stuff. A few years ago when that first came out, I was showing those clips to my daughter, and it was actually a pretty good introduction to these characters. You know, they had Leia and Chewbacca and just a whole, videos a couple minutes long about each individual character. And it's a good little fun introduction to the world of Star Wars without trying to get a 4 or 5 year old to sit through a 2-hour movie, right? It's a good little introduction. But I don't know if I would want a complete adaptation of the Skywalker saga in 2D or animation rather. What would be interesting would be to have a series that takes place during those films, kind of like A Certain Point of View, those books, to where they follow those characters that have an impact on those movies, or just come up with something new, but I'm not a huge fan of like remakes and because those stories are told, so I don't know if I'd really be excited for a 2D adaptation of the Skywalker saga. In all honesty, I would rather have something brand new that's a little more, I don't know, that's a little different, if that makes sense. But I like where your head's at, because Galaxy of Adventures is fun. It's fun. Again, like, I enjoyed When did those first come out? Let's see. Galaxy of Adventures. I want to say it was 2 years ago. Oh, wow. It's older than I was thinking. 2019. Wait, hold on. No, it's older than that. 2018. Wow. Okay. 5 years ago? I didn't realize they were that old. I mean, that's not old at all, but that's... I mean, my daughter was born in 2018, and the first episode was released in 2018. That's kind of hard to believe. Wow. I kind of forgot my train of thought there, looking at these dates. Interesting. But anyway, Star Wars story. I appreciate that, man. What, Kevin? What's interesting? You say, I feel like with the talking about TLJ backlash. What's interesting is that the only backlash that I've ever seen on TLJ is online. I work with guys who have Star Wars tattoos, who are huge Star Wars fans in the fire department, who are not big fans of the sequel trilogy, but all of them say they liked The Last Jedi, and I expected them to say they hated it. I've really only met one guy, a friend of mine, who doesn't like it. The vast majority, I mean, literally everybody I know likes it. In IRL, as you say. So I don't know, it's just interesting. Like, I don't feel that like that level of disapproval when I talk about Star Wars with Star Wars fans and, you know, in my life. But when I go on the internet, it's just front and center. And again, I mean, that's just the dichotomy between having a casual conversation about Star Wars and then switching over to something you can monetize, where you can pump out videos every single day and bitch and moan about things you don't like. Now, that's how it goes. I don't know. Interesting, Ricky. All right. Interesting. See? Ricky says, exact opposite for me. I'm the only one in my friend group that likes TLJ. Even my dad doesn't like it, which kind of sucks. That's interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously everybody's experience is different. So, yeah. That's interesting. Really, Christian? I feel like most people I meet IRL don't like TLJ. That's very interesting to me. Huh. All my friends is Evan too. Wow. See, I don't have that experience in the real world. I mean, this is the real world. I'm talking in a microphone to real people. But like people that I see face to face, you know. I don't have that experience that you guys did. That's very interesting to me. I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, everybody's experience is different. Everybody's friend group and acquaintances are different. Of different generations and perspectives and whatnot. So it doesn't come as surprising in that, from that perspective, but it does come a little surprising just because it's the complete opposite of my experience, you know. But have bad taste. Ricky. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Star Wars
Oh,
should
what's that?
do a movie centered around the birth of space travel. Maybe like first contacts between different creatures like Wookiees and Rhodians. There is an old comic that sort of explores that.
Cam Skywalker, I love that idea. Cam, I have always wanted Star Wars to branch out and get a little weird with it. Get a little more exploratory with everything. I've often said that, I mean, for years, probably like a decade, I've talked to, when people ask me what kind of Star Wars movie I would want, I always say, I want something that goes way back in time, to where people first discovered the Force. That kind of sense of discovery would be really interesting to me, because the Force wasn't invented, it was discovered, right? But what you're kind of suggesting somewhat falls into the same line as what I'm talking about. A sense of discovery, a sense of awe and wonder. Dude, let me read it, because I don't know if the robot was loud enough. Cam said, Star Wars should do a movie centered around the birth of space travel, maybe like first contacts between different creatures like Wookiees and Rhodians. There is an old comic that sort of explores that. Oh, what is that old comic? Interesting. But no, Cam, that idea is absolutely right up my alley. That would be, I don't know if it would be like a very, that would be I don't know how they would have to do it, because people, I feel like a lot of people have a very narrow view of what Star Wars can and should be. And I'm over here like, let it fucking be whatever it wants to be. A first contact movie? Yes. That sounds incredible. Adventurous. And just, having a sense of awe and inspiration surrounding discovery in a Star Wars movie would be really neat. Not of the metaphysical, not of lineage, not of the Force even, but something that involves something relatable, like the wish of a first contact. I would absolutely love that. I mean, what if the first contact that the Wookiees ever had was I don't know, you could play with a first contact very well in the Star Wars universe. An alien race, their first contact could be violent, an adversary. And there would have to be some, oh man, you could do so many fun things with that and still make it extremely exciting without being too heady. I wouldn't mind my Star Wars getting super heady. I wouldn't mind my Star Wars dabbling into the headiness of Star Trek, which I love as well. But I know that might turn a lot of people off, because again, a lot of people have a very narrow view of what Star Wars should be. But, dude, me and you are speaking the same language, Cam. I dig it. And if you know what comics those are, I would love. Tales of the... Oh, there we go. Cam said it's a Tales of the Jedi comic. It's at the start of the Republic. I believe there is an offhanded line where someone says it was a new system the Republic encountered. Gotcha. Okay. Huh. But yeah, me and you are speaking the same language, man. Get weird with it. Have some fun. Do some really interesting out there stuff. I am all about it, because when a franchise continues to mulch over the same shit, when then it gets a little stagnant, for me at least. I know a lot of Star Wars fans want more of the same. I don't want that. I mean, people complain about having so much modern Star Wars focus on a specific era, but then they want to, everything that they talk about and want, and fan films and everything just kind of focuses on the same shit that we've seen before. If you're going to complain about Star Wars not focusing on different eras, well, don't create your thing in that same era. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. What's cool in that comic is that the Republic soldiers look like colonial marines from Aliens, and the Jedi Master was a giant slug creature. I dig it. All right, I dig it. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, Cam, thanks for letting me go on a little tangent there, or evoking a little tangent out of me. I appreciate that, man. But yeah, thank you for that generous super chat and channel support tonight. We speak the same language, my friend. Minato Namikaze, good to see you. Minato says, with news that Iger will step down once his contract is over, how do you think people will react if they made Kennedy the new CEO of Disney? Is that so? I know Minato always, or is very in tune with the inner workings of. I don't want to put words in your mouth or I feel like you're very in tune with the budgets, the financials, the I don't know, the news of studios and stuff like that, which I'm not. I'm just, I just kind of talk about what I like and don't like about things, which probably isn't all that interesting. But I don't know. I mean, how much, if Kennedy was the new CEO of Disney, first of all, I don't really see that happening. But how much people act like Kennedy has like her grip on the throat of the narrative of Star Wars. And I feel like people don't really understand the role of someone like that. They're not an idea maker. I don't feel like they sit there. It's not somebody on a throne at the top of a fucking hill and everybody goes and brings them grapes and bows down to them and says, please approve my script. I don't think that's how it works. I just... It's very interesting to me how one person can become the scapegoat for a group of people's disappointment. And I feel like there's a lot of free reign with what gets made that doesn't really involve bigwigs. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, bigwigs do. It's more delegation. It's more a managerial role. It's more of a what the hell did I just smushed something on my... I just tried to wipe something off of my desk, and I pushed it, and it smeared, almost like a grease pencil. And now it's gone. I just rubbed it out of existence. What the hell was that? I have no idea what that could be. Well, that's a distraction. But, no, I first of all, I don't see that happening. Not because of any kind of blowback, backlash, whatever, but just... I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard that Iger is planning on stepping down once his contract is over. But people's reaction. I mean, you already know what people's reaction would be in that scenario. I mean, you would have just YouTubers. Instead of 2 videos a day from YouTubers, you would have 4 videos a day, and goddamn, the cash flow would be flowing into their bank accounts. Yeah. Kennedy is the business side of Lucasfilm. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, man, how one person just becomes the punching bag for people's disappointments when their role in the creative side of things is probably nil, But people like scapegoats. People like an individual that they can blame for things. That's a tale as old as time. So, I don't know, man. But I appreciate that, Minato. Like, yeah, KK. Cool, dude. No, like, does anybody know the name of the studio head at Warner Brothers? Why? I mean, I don't know. I personally don't. I don't. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do. But like, why is there so much vitriol towards this one person when a lot of other franchises that, you know, end up being a little disappointing, nobody points to the head honcho and goes, "This is your fault." I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting to me. But anyway. Fat Man knows. I don't know. I have no idea. It's not my world. Star Wars Story. Thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I didn't realize we went well over an hour. We're almost at an hour and 15 minutes here. Star Wars Story said, I love the Dawn of the Jedi film to begin on an ocean world, large fish, sailors, and the works. When our Force heroes leave, we learn the planet is Tatooine. Ooh, I like that. Interesting. That's interesting. I do like that. You know, a world of plenty. A world of moisture turned into Mad Max. Oh, I can, man, it's a shame that a fun, interesting idea like that, my brain goes to people complaining about it on the internet. You know, isn't that a shame? That's an interesting and fun idea. But because of the world we live in today, you know, if you did that idea, you would have people bitching about, like the political messaging of that. You know, isn't that, I don't know, it's just a shame. It's so stupid. Like, fun and interesting ideas automatically get, I don't know. But yeah, that would be interesting. Hopefully the movie still happens. I mean, I guess no news is good news, right? With the production of Star Wars stuff, because yeah, how many times have we seen something get canceled or something get you know, change hands? I guess no news is good news, I suppose, but I dig that idea, Star Wars Story. I dig it. Does Tatooine have a, let's see, Tatooine. Alright, Tatooine is a fictional desert meaning.
Tatooine.
What does Tatooine mean? I was wondering if Tatooine had a, cause a lot of, like, I guess, original Star Wars stuff has, meaning in other languages. I was just curious if Tatooine had a meaning in another language, or if it was just completely created. If there is another meaning, that would make for a fun video. I like doing videos like that where there's research involved, you know. But But anyway, I appreciate that story. All right, guys, I got a jet. Hour and 16 minutes. Went a little over, but we were having fun. So yeah, I have a couple. I have 3 videos that are going to be scheduled to upload in the next few days. They're fun, sponsored videos actually, and there's some of the I loved making them. Don't want to go into too much detail, but you'll see them. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I will be streaming, let's see, today's Tuesday. I'll probably do a stream on maybe Saturday night. We'll see. Maybe Saturday night. But anyway. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for shooting the shit. Talked about a lot of random stuff. A lot of Star Wars tonight, which is nice. But alright guys. That's it for me. So to everybody who super chatted tonight, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Alright, have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. You want to go to the mall? You want to go to the mall tonight? Hey, do you want to go to the mall? You want to do some Christmas shopping? I'm talk. There we go. Let's go to the mall. All right. We'll eat at Sbarro's. We'll get a big pretzel. We'll play at the arcades. Oh, they just what is Hot Topic? They just opened this store called Hot Topic. Let's check it out. All right, guys. Enjoy yourself. Have fun.